need insurance, and most of us need several types. Our next guest can help find the insurance that is right for you. So please welcome Craig Jones. And Craig, if you would, give us a little history of Jones Enterprises Insurance Brokers and kind of what inspired you to start this business.
Well, after retiring from the power generation business, I was really looking for something that was interesting, of course, and something that was helpful. I know a lot of people don't know a lot about insurance, and I was one of those people. So I inquired about getting licensed, and I did so during the pandemic. And shortly thereafter, I decided to start a brokerage. So I started my company back around 2021 and learned a lot about it. Still learning. There's a ton of information regarding insurance and insurable interest. And so I've been a student of it. Meanwhile, I've been helping people to acquire the policies that they need for their business or for their personal interest.
You said that you've learned a lot. What are some of the misconceptions about insurance that are out there?
Well, insurance is offered for a future event if it may happen. And a lot of people, they don't realize that they're not covered until it's too late. I've seen recent interviews or some on the news where people, their whole life has been destroyed by storms and flooding, so on and so forth. And most people don't realize that the average homeowner's policy doesn't include flood insurance. So just that one concept alone is usually left out, and is not clear to the customer that you're not covered until you have an event.
What types of different insurance policies do you offer, and how do you cater to both individuals and businesses?
Right now, my focus is I work with a lot of truckers, and truckers, they have needs that are regulated by the DOT, and the Department of Transportation requires that they have certain types of coverage in order for them to do their business. Whereas in personal lines, the more selective, people can decide, well, no, I don't need this or I don't need that. Truckers, they have to have certain types of coverage, or else they can't get loads at all. And that pretty much determines whether they can operate and do their business or not.
Does your approach to commercial insurance differ from other insurance providers?
It does to a degree. Most insurance providers they can only offer you their product, whereas then I can offer you different lines of products. I have access to Progressive and other lines, whereas then Progressive can only offer you Progressive insurance.
So you can go in and compare and contrast and help consumers find the deal that's best for them.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I try to do. As most people do, we all shop for the best rate. Mm-hmm. But sometimes that's a compromise, because the best rate doesn't give you the type of coverage that you actually need. So I try to have that conversation with the customer on the front end, and to ensure that they know that the best rate is not necessarily going to guarantee that you'll have the coverage at the time of need. So I try to make that pretty clear, even though everybody has a budget and they have to function within that range, that budget range. And that's understandable.
But sometimes they're not comparing apples to apples. They're comparing apples to oranges. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And I do the same thing myself. So, and that's what I'm learning is sometimes, the best deal is not necessarily what it's cracked up to be or what it seems. So you have to think outside the box sometimes to understand that, I'm also preparing for the longer run instead of meeting the immediate need.
What do you do with those folks that come in your office and say, you know what, Craig, I am insurance poor. How can you help me? Can you actually help those folks?
To some degree, I try to be informative, but at the same time, I'll point to sources of information for them to acquire. If I don't have the answers all myself, I'll at least reach out to find the source of information that will help them to find exactly what they're looking for.
Can you explain the process of customizing an insurance policy to meet the specific needs of a client?
Well, I'll use the homeowner's policy. The homeowner's policy, the average person has, if you own a home, you have an HO3, the average. That's the average. But there's also a policy known as an HO5 that offers more coverage, especially with regard to your personal property. Both policies cover the dwelling and any exposure or any most of the main concerns, your fire damage or your wind damage, hail damage. But the HO5 actually covers a lot more. And without going into specifics, even though it does offer more coverage, it's also offered at a higher premium. So if that's the main point of concern, then I'll explain that this is what this policy offers, and it's at a specific rate and that's not necessarily going to cover all of the exposure that you may experience if there is a problem. Like flood insurance is separate from the average homeowner's policy. It's not included. So they need to know that.
How do you stay informed about all of the changes that happen within insurance and policies?
Try to stay, there's always a webinar or some kind of a discussion about the different, some of the changes that happen. Now, there's numerous changes that are going on all the time, and some of them are more generalized, and some of them are specific with regard to that company or that particular offering. Because there's all kinds of insurance nowadays. It's a wide range of products, and they all have their own specifics. So you need to go out and, which I do. I try to go out and stay in, go and attend a lot of the webinars that are offered to find out if there's something that I can use for my own customers' benefit.
How do folks get in touch with you if they want your help in finding the right insurance policies for them?
Well, they can go to my website, jonesenterprisesinsurance.com. and they can leave their information and just a brief message about what they're looking for, what they need. And I'll usually contact them within 24 hours.
Thank you so much for taking your time today and talking to us more about Jones Enterprises Insurance Brokers. Thanks, Craig.